Luis Figo, Sol Campbell, Carlos Tevez, Otmar Hitzfeld, and of course, Massimiliano Allegri. You heard these names before of people who have crossed their divide when it comes to eternal rivals. And now, of course, we've got another one because Omar Berrada has joined Manchester United as our new CEO. He's obviously leaving Man City and the incredible project that they've done on the east side of Manchester. And he's switching to the west side because he's got a huge project on their hands. But what does this mean for Manchester United? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sani-That sports guy talking all things sport. And of course, today we're speaking football, speaking about Man United, and we're speaking about Omar Berrada because as we know, Man United got a new CEO. There's a lot of promise coming out of Manchester right now, especially the red half when it comes to all this new ownership under Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's plans, and of course, this new vision with Omar Berrada as the CEO. He's been at Manchester City for 12 years, being a big reason why they had incredible revenues, being a key role when it comes to the signings of the likes of such as a Jack Grealish and an Erling Haaland. Before that, he was at Barcelona during that incredible period where they were winning everything. Ironically, Pep Guardiola and Shishiki Bergestan were there as well. But now he's joining a club in Manchester United that have a huge project on their hands, and he could be the fulcrum behind all the potential success that arises at Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying football's about money, but last season, Man City recorded record revenues, and he's a big reason behind it. Man United have always been a juggernaut when it comes to revenue, when it comes to the commercial side, and although Berrada will help that, it's what he's going to do from a footballing side that I think we need to talk about. Now, as we know at Man City, he wasn't the head honcho. Now at Man United, he is the guy. He will have all the control to make those decisions that will ultimately mean Man United are in a better place. And now, I know some of you out there are going to be like, oh, but I remember his tweets a couple of years ago. At the end of the day, that's a long time ago, and tweet is a tweet. I wouldn't read too much into it. What he was saying necessarily wasn't really wrong, especially about the one about how as a club we got into a mess. And ironically, that mess is still here, and he's the one who's going to be having to clean it up. But I think with Ineos actually making this move, it does show that they definitely have a lot of ambition. Can you imagine prizing one of the biggest assets when it comes to your success at your rival club and him joining forces with you to showcase that you actually mean business? And Ineos do mean business with this signing. Don't get me wrong, Man United have had a chief executive before. If you look at Richard Arnold, he was his predecessor, but he delegated football responsibility to the director, John Murtaugh. Arnold didn't feel he was qualified enough to influence that area. But Ratcliffe doesn't believe that. He thinks the person who's running the football club day to day should have a massive influence when it comes to the football function. And you're going to see that with Berrada. Now, with Berrada coming into it, it's going to go back to the way it was under Ed Woodward. Now, I know a lot of Man United fans are going to remember the time under Ed Woodward, but here's the difference. Berrada speaks 4 languages, and he's definitely way more experienced when it comes to the footballing side as well. Now, we all know under the Glazers, we've had a weird history when it comes to hiring within and hiring people who are clearly inexperienced when it comes to the job. Matt Judge was the head of negotiations, Darren Fletcher was a technical director, and John Murtaugh, just to name 3. Yeah, fine, Berrada hasn't been a chief executive before because that wasn't his position at Man City, but he still has way more experience than all 3 of them combined. Now, of course, there's an asterisk to the success that Berrada did help achieve at Manchester City due to those 115 charges that they have. And at that time, Berrada was head of sponsorships, and although he hasn't been personally implicated, it does somewhat put an asterisk to his success. He still has that aura that I think will bring success to Manchester United. We only know that last May he'd been approached by NFL franchises, and although Berrada, who is widely deemed to be personable, curious, and remarkably lacking in ego, he's determined to have change at Manchester United because ultimately he's the one that will be making decisions day to day. Because as a CEO, he'll be in the eye having to make the final decision. At the end of the day, when he was there at Man City, he wasn't the CEO. He was in a role that was similar to the COO. Now there, you're not the person who's making the final decision, so you might have more freedom when it comes to what you say and how you say it. But at the end of the day, he's the person who will be ultimately making the decisions now. So effectively, he is the guy who will have more impetus on where Man United will be from here. But it does go to show that Man United still as a club is huge. We still have that pull because Berrada didn't really need to come to us. He's got it rosy in Manchester City. He's helped City achieve the things that they could have dreamed of only 20 years ago. Despite us underachieving for so many years, the size, stature and success, especially historically, that we've had meant that Berrada couldn't say no to this project. Ultimately, this is a great move for Ineos. I spoke a couple of weeks ago about what Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually brings to Manchester United, about Sir Dale Brailsford, for example. And I think him bringing on board Berrada is just another step into the right direction. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Listen, Berrada, it's a great move for Manchester United at the end of the day, regardless of what people think about his tweets. He is definitely here to make change, and I think it's a great move. And if anything, things are looking good at Manchester United, especially going into 2025, where we'll have a new sporting director for next season. Who knows? Erik ten Hag may or may not be here, but Berrada will help have that vision, and I think that is important for us Man United fans to accept it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of Berrada? Do you think he'll be a success? What else do you think he will bring to the football club? Or do you just think that he won't really be anything to Manchester United, and it'll be business as usual, especially under the Glazers. But as always, make sure to hit a like, comment, share with your family and friends. And as always, subscribe if you're new to the channel. But as always, guys, until next time, peace.